I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I have not looked forward to this volume at all. Hey, it's Romania Black, and we're on volume 22 of Attack on Titan. And yeah, there's been a lot of volumes I've been looking forward to, like seeing the volume with Warrior in it, and seeing Perfect Day and Midnight Sun and Hero. The last several volumes have been so good, but this volume I've honestly dreaded. It's been the volume I've been dreading the most out of the entire thing, right? Because it's all downhill from here. Right? It's all downhill from here. And I've told people in the comments, I've talked about it in the anime, in the recap. I don't know how many times I've said it, but my favorite Eren is up until this point, like from the moment we get Bystander and Eren like has his breakdown with Astoria and then builds himself back up, and then he gets Carla's words, and then he figures out like, okay, we can do stuff, and then when he like gets emotional and vulnerable losing Armin and begs for him to come back, and then going to the truth, and it finally getting to what he's been building up this entire time to find answers, and then we find answers. And then everything that has been building up Eren's character into what we think is going to be this big, heroic, like, character growth arc for Eren implodes. And Eren becomes incredibly depressed and incredibly bitter and incredibly resolved, but apathetic, and not apathetic even, but resolved, but hopeless. Eren believes that he knows what he has to do, and he knows what's going to go down, but he just hates himself. From like here on in, it's just that Eren hates himself from here on in. The moment he kisses Astoria's hand and those attack Titan powers happen, and he realizes what he's about to do, but he has to go through with it because it started this chain length of events, and we can't go back now because you've set things in motion, Eren, and it's just so heartbreaking. And I'm excited to go back through it to look at it again in more detail because I've not gone back to the anime since then and seen it. But on the other hand, I'm very, 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 very sad because it's like the Eren. I have this sticker here of my favorite Eren, and it's of him. He's wearing the same outfit he wears as depressed emo Eren in season 4. He has the little shirt and everything, but he has his jacket, his shirt, but he's like in 15, 16-year-old mode Eren. And it says there, invest everything in me. And he's holding the Joker card. That's the Eren that I like. I like that Eren. That Eren's great. We're about to go from that Eren to this Eren. We're about to go from this Eren to this Eren. And this Eren here, undercover Eren, that I got at an anime convention, he looks depressed as hell. I don't like this Eren. I like this Eren. But what can we do? I can't go back now. So I just, the whole thing with the Attack Titan and their abilities and everything, I know how it works, and I am interested when we get to those volumes later with him and Zeke of seeing how it all is explained in the context of the manga, because the manga, I'm sure, when you read it in black and white and you see how Isayama puts it out there, I'm excited to get to that point, but God, this volume, I'm so heartbroken already, and I've not even broken the cover open. Isayama definitely plays with the idea of the trope of, oh, you want a happy ending. Oh, well, this isn't that type of shonen. I'm like, damn it. He's like, this isn't that type of story. No. Isayama goes all in on the Shakespearean tragedy and laughs while he does it because he knows how much it's going to hurt us reading it. So I do have a few comments, though, before we dive into this. Christopher Peterson and I have had some comments over on Patreon talking about the whole Titan thing. Somebody brought up a few volumes ago about the idea that the Titan shifters and the warriors were all like chosen by family bloodlines. But in the last volume, we see that Marley held like a draft basically of Marley and Eldians to pick out the warriors. So it wasn't necessarily on the surface a family-driven thing, but we were talking about it. And Christopher Peterson was asking if the warriors were all connected through bloodlines or if it was just random. I was like, well, you have the draft. And I figured, my thoughts in the comments were that the Marleyans had the draft to try to, my theory is they had figured out that the restorationists exist existed, and they were like, yeah, we already had some families in mind that we were going to use for the warrior project, but we also want to try to sniff out the restorationists and try to figure out who they are. And what better ploy for the restorationists than to say, oh, if you have a kid that could be a Marleyan warrior, that trying to get them inside into the fold. So part of my theory was that maybe they had picked out these bloodlines because of compatibility already, but they were doing the draft to try to weed out and find the restorationists and see if they could trap them. And lo and behold, thanks to Zeke, they do. So that was one theory. But then, I mean, if you look at the Grice brothers, if you look at the Galliard brothers, if you look at Reiner and Gabby, there's clearly some family bloodlines that are chosen, but like they were debating on whether to make Reiner the Jaw Titan or not. So it wasn't set in stone what Titan he was going to even be. He wasn't necessarily going to be the Armor Titan. They were considering him for the Jaw Titan instead. And then Marcel chose, you know, or they were considering Porco for the Armor Titan, and Marcel convinced them to pick Reiner. So none of that is set in stone, right? And then you have Annie, who has no bloodlines to anybody that we know previously that has been a warrior. Same with Bertold. He seemed to have gotten there on his merits. So again, it's hard to determine if that's the case or not. I feel like once they got Marcel in the fold and realized how good he was at being the Jaw Titan, they were like, oh, well, his brother, of course, we want to get him involved too. And once they got Reiner involved as the armor, Gabby, I'm sure, was like, I want to get involved too. And they were like, sure. Same with Falco and his brother as well. So who knows? But it's very interesting to think about. I don't think it was I don't think that there's been generations of bronze being the warriors or anything like that. But it's a cool theory to kind of roll around with. And then Alexander Q talked about how Keith in Bystander, there's this really complicated moment where Keith was trying to have a Mr. Browse keep the children out of the forest moment by telling Grisha. I love that Alexander Q brought this up, saying that Keith is like, Grisha, why don't you solve your own problems rather than bringing your kids into this? Which is a very valid point. And Keith should have been around Zeke when he said that, because he should have been around Grisha when Zeke was born and been like, hey, Grisha, how about we not make Zeke do your dirty work for you? You know, Keith needed to be around then. That would have been the most appropriate. But the problem that Alexander Q brings up with that, because I was like, yeah, I'm all aboard with Keith. He should never have involved Eren in this. But the problem was that Grisha only had 13 years. He was about to die. And the sad thing is, even though he was about to die, nearly like 90% of the people in parity with Grisha at the time could have became the Attack Titan. They could have. Anybody could have. Keith could have become the Attack Titan. All he had to do was give him the serum and have him eat him. Anybody could. It did not have to be Eren. Grisha just chose Eren because he wanted to instill in Eren the idea that, oh, you're avenging your mom. Oh, you're my son, so you can do this, right? There was reasons why Grisha did it, but it didn't have to be Eren. The irony of all ironies is that Grisha is making it Eren because Eren has told him to make it Eren. So I'm like, damn it, Eren, we're trying to give you a teachable moment here, and you're screwing it up. Oh, it's really funny. It's so Isayama just making things as complicated as he can, right? But I've talked enough. I've talked well into this. So I want to give a very quick shout out over to Patreon, to our philanthropy tier. Thank you all so much for your kindness and donations this month. I'm very thankful for all the support on Patreon as well as YouTube. You all are amazing. I could not do this without your support. Getting the manga for Attack on Titan and being able to read it, that's all thanks to you all. So a very big shout out to the philanthropy tier for going above and beyond. They get a shout out in some of my videos each month. Want to shout out to Anime Annie, to Tyrone, to Eric, to Sunspots, to Translucent Min, as well as Legatus, Anna, Goob, Matthew Pelefnier, as well as Argent, Nameless Monster, as well as Shimoyama, Kiri, Be Happy, Dana, Edgar, and Alex Cornejo. Thank you all so, so much. I greatly appreciate your support. All of my love. So, let's just do the damn thing, right? I was dreading it. I didn't want to do it tonight. I actually wanted to record something else, and I was like, no, Romania, you need to read it. Just let's go. Let's just do the darn thing. Maybe it won't hurt as bad as you think it is. Maybe it won't hurt so much. We're going to find out, though, and see for ourselves here in 3, 2, one. And it's this cover too. It's this cover of Armin and Mikasa together looking at Eren, and Eren looking away from them and pointing across the ocean. It's just, I've dreaded this. I've dreaded this volume the most because once this volume happens, it's done. It's over. We can't go back. It's got to happen. We got to move on to season 4. And season 4 is great. I love season 4 so much, and there's so much happening. We don't have to focus on emo Eren, but in this volume here and the events that I remember, we're going to focus on emo Eren, and it's going to hurt a lot. And I've come to really like Eren in the manga, and I'm not ready for that. So how about it? Of course, we had Eren looking towards the camera at the basement last volume. We have him looking away in this volume. Borderline, the attack titan. Oh, meeting and the other side of the wall. Oh my God. Nope, not ready. Not ready at all. Oh wow, there is a lot here. A lot of text. Okay, I'm gonna have to read this. The spoils of war acquired by the Survey Corps after having retaken Wall Maria. 3 volumes left behind by Grisha Jaeger, Eren's father. Inside of them is the truth of this world, knowledge that Erwin was ready to devote his own heart for. It sucks that Erwin's not here to see this. That makes it even sadder. The sudden rise of the Eldian Empire. Over 1,800 years ago, Ymir Fritz, the progenitor of the Eldians, made a contract with the devil of all earth. This little tiny centipede to acquire the power of the Titans. Using the power of the Titans, Ymir cultivated the wastelands, built roads, constructed bridges, bringing abundance to the land and wealth to the Eldian people. Ymir's power built the Eldian Empire, and when she died, it was divided among the 9 Titans. That's not been explained yet, but I don't want to know. I want to see what the manga gives us as far as that goes. The Empire then brought ruin to the great and ancient nation of Marley and became the conqueror of the continent. Now possessing the power to become Titans, these subjects of Ymir, the Eldian people, oppressed and subjugated other races for about the next 1,700 years, even conducting ethnic cleansing. The Great Titan War, Marley's overthrowing of the nation and the dispersion of the Eldian people. The Eldian Empire grown arrogant over 1,700 years, eventually allowing Marley to work from within and instigate a civil war, causing it to grow weak. Marley was also able to acquire 7 of the 9 Titans, winning the Great Titan War about 100 years ago and defeating Eldia. While Fritz, the 145th Eldian king, had inherited the founding Titan with its ability to rule over and control all other Titans, he made the decision to renounce war, moving to the remote island of Parody along with some other Eldians. There he built 3 layers of walls and hid inside of them. Meanwhile, the Eldians who held out and were left behind on the continent were segregated into internment zones, forced to live under Marley's tyrannical rule. So it's just the cycle of violence. It's just the cycle of war. Like one group subjugates another group and the cycle just continues on and on and on. And the thing about it is that, again, going back to Armin's logic, you know, you're a loser if you run away. Fritz runs away. He doesn't confront the problem. He doesn't use the power to control the other Titans to actually do something, to solve something. Instead, he runs away from the problem, and the problem doesn't go away when you run away from it. You have to confront it at some point. And that's one of the big messages of the entire series, is that you can't just run away from a problem. You have to confront it. Yeah, there's going to be times where you have to like back out and retreat because you know you're not going to win. But in Fritz's case, he had the potential and the power to do something, and he did nothing. And so it didn't solve the problem. Instead, it just perpetuated it even more. And it's just like he just left a petri dish with a disease in it on the table and said, I guess it'll work itself out. And then it just became a plague, right? So it's definitely a message from Isayama to say you can't just run away and do nothing. You have to take action, even if it hurts, even if it's ugly. The problem is that he also shows how you also have to be careful with that, because if you can go to 2 extremes. You can either go the King Fritz route where you run away from your problems and nothing gets solved, or you can go the Eren rumbling route where your problem solving is, oh, we'll just wipe everything out. There needs to be a middle ground is what he's getting at. But it's just hilarious because it's just, he presents it so plainly right here for us. The Eldia Restorationist Turning Point and Marley's soldiers. Through the help of the Owl, an individual. I always think of David Bowie in the Labyrinth when I hear the owl. I always think of that or the owl licking lollipops for the Tootsie Roll commercial. Tootsie Pop commercial. An individual working against the Marleyan government from the inside, an underground anti-establishment organization on the continent known as the Eldia Restorationists, had expanded their influence in secret and were beginning to make plans to take back the founding titan, which had been brought inside the walls, and return it to the true royal family. Two members of the Restorationists, Dinah Fritz, a descendant of the true royal family, who had refused to flee the island, and Grisha Jaeger, were wed and gave birth to a son, Zeke. Meanwhile, with plans of its own to retake the founding titan, the Marleyan government began recruiting Marley warriors from Eldia internment zones around the continent. They collected subjects of Yamir, both male and female, ages 5 to 7. The goal of this program was to select suitable vessels for the 7 titans controlled by the Marleyan government. Zeke had been sent to be a Marley warrior, and around the time he turned 7, he informed on his parents to the Marleyan government. All the Eldian restorationists who were then caught were sent to Parody. And then came the great tragedy. And then came the great tragedy. I like that. I like that Isayama says, yes, the great tragedy wasn't them all being sent to Parody. It was what came after. It was Eren. Eren was the great tragedy that came afterwards. It's like, oh, well. That wording is very specific and very interesting. Yeah, so I'm assuming the ages 5 to 7 was because they can only be a Titan for 13 years. So that's up until they're like 17 or 18. Well, by that point, they would have found other kids to replace them. And again, the cycle continues. It was too late by the time we realized, you were born to become the king who will lead us Eldians. Everything the Marleyans say is wrong. But you need to follow each of their teachings better than anyone else. We have to win now. And it's so crazy because it's exactly the opposite of what Grisha's father taught him, but it's in the exact same manner. His dad was trying to brainwash Grisha into being submissive, and Grisha is now trying to brainwash Zeke to be the opposite. Of all people, I should have known just how sinful it is for parents to indoctrinate their own children. Yeah, he should have. Grisha's mistake. He should have known. But he was so fueled by the idea of his own insecurities and getting back at what he'd lost that he didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was doing to him what had been done to me. Why couldn't I see that? I dare say I never once treated Zeke as Zeke. Only as a child with royal blood and the hope of the Eldia Restorationists. In any case, Zeke abandoned his parents who willingly exposed their own child to danger. He chose the safety his grandparents offered in exchange for handing over his foolish parents to Marley. Yeah, I love that Zeke and Dinah have the same eyes. It's crazy. But also, and then we see, the Beast Titan with him. But yeah, I love the way that that's worded. Zeke abandoned his parents who willingly exposed their own child to danger. Yeah, like you put your kid on the chopping block. You were willing to sacrifice your kid to get back at something. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. Like this torture scene, Zacharias would be very envious of that chair. I'm amazed we get nudity in this. This is a lot more than I was expecting. Who is the owl? None of us know. Oh my God. And they chopped off his fingers with snips. Oh my God. Oh. And he's not a Titan yet, so they can't grow back. That's awful. Oh my God. Oh. Isayama. Oh. The owl. What a terrifying state of affairs. And there's Kruger, right? Damn. Well, at least they gave him his clothes back while they took him to the wall, huh? I had seen his face before, but he couldn't remember. To distract himself from the cruel fate that awaited me. Oh my God. And of course Kruger's the one with him. Of course. Of course! The penal colony for Eldian traitors. Your people's heavenly kingdom. Oh, that's such a twisted way to think of it. You're going to serve a life sentence here for the crime of treason, and you'll be serving it as a mindless titan. You'll sense humans, chase humans, and eat humans. And you'll be doing it until the day that you die. Oh, that's so cruel. There's no way to die here. And he's like, so you remember, how could I forget that day? Oh my God, yeah, what an awful fate. Yeah, just the idea of just like freckled Ymir roamed Parody for 60 years doing just that. Like, it's insane. Like, you just roam around mindlessly until somebody in the Survey Corps kills you, if that. And then, yeah, keep walking. Yep. Oh, Grice. Oh, yeah. Yep. And then, yep, that's why he was the one. Oh, he was the one that got him to join in the first place. Wow, how roundabout. Isn't that weird? Maybe it hit me in the manga, in the anime as well, but yeah, isn't that crazy? That Grice, the uncle of the two brothers that are, with the Survey Corps now going after Eren, or at least Falco is, that his uncle was the one that was with Eren's dad. Like, keeping it all in the family, right? Why did I ever let you? Oh. And then gross. Yep. Gross. Yep. Oh. Run straight north. You'll make it to the wall if you're lucky. The pure titans don't get near the ocean. Oh, putting him down there draws the new titans away from us. It makes our job easier. Oh, wow. Yes, they don't go after them there. Oh. That man is the one who killed my sister. Oh, that's so awful. Oh, my God. Oh. And then they go after him and kill him. Man. Oh, there's the Santa Claus Titan. Yep, there's the Santa Claus and everything. That's just, it's hard to watch. I want to interrogate him. You go ahead. Yeah, that should have been the sign, right? Yeah. Oh. And then, yeah, and that's when he shuts him up. Shut up. He's the owl. Yep. Uh-huh. He's the owl. I think at this point, I didn't realize he was the owl until this exact moment. Mm-hmm. No matter what I become, I'll find you. Oh. And she did! God, she did! She found him! And then it was because he was an Eren, and Eren killed her. I swear, I know Isayama is married now, but I swear he was maybe having like a really bad time with relationships. And he was like, how can I make this the most freaking messed up thing possible? Oh, I know. Because this is so messed up. It's so messed up, and it's Dinah. Now, are we going to go back to Eren? Yes! Okay, yes! It was her. Yeah. And Mikasa has her bedhead. Yay. And he's crying. Uh-huh. Which, again, cuts back to the very beginning under the tree with Mikasa. Was he crying because that was a moment when everything was about to go down? Was Eren crying because that day that everything was going down, like all of the memories like coming back and forth and everything? I love Mikasa's bedhead. It's so cute. Yeah. I like that Armin gets outside of the bars because he technically hasn't done anything wrong. He died and was brought back. I heard a woman's voice. Was that you? Oh. I feel like I woke up from the longest dream. It was a memory. Everything in the book was true after all. I connected to my old man's memories. That Titan, so it was you. It was Dinah. Oh, man. Oh, and the two of them side by side there. It was Eren with his forehead looks bigger there. It was Dinah. Oh. Grisha. You fed my 8-year-old little sister to the dogs 15 years ago. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and then this is Gross's speech. Yeah. We'll make him dance today. He is going to be eating you. Oh. Yep. Why are you doing this? Oh, and there's the panel where he looks straight into the camera, straight into it. Why? It's so creepy and minimalist, but effective because it's fun. It's fun to watch humans get eaten by monsters. Most people like watching brutality. We've been at peace since we were freed from Eldian rule. Decades of peace are great, but something's missing. You hardly ever get to feel alive. Do you feel thinking you might die today? I know many people who do. In a society that takes peace for granted, the people who think that way are abnormal. I'm different. We're all going to die, but me, I'm ready to accept it when my day comes. And that's because I face the truth of this cruel world and try to understand it. Learning should be fun. And my sons learned something watching their dogs tear your sister apart. It built character. That's so messed up. But just saying, oh. Again, it goes kind of back to Kenny's speech about everyone's a slave to something. And he's like, if you're not a slave to something, you're abnormal. And then there's the one Titan with the weird face. Yes, there he is. How do you live with yourself? I tense up when I think about the same thing happened to my sons. Your sister didn't do anything wrong. If only she wasn't an Eldian. And that line there, if only she wasn't an Eldian, that is the whole thing back to Bertolt and Eren's conversation in the trees where he said, I felt sorry for you. It's like Gross saying, oh, I felt sorry for your sister dying, but she was a devil, so what could we do? It's that argument there. It is the failure of Gross and the Marlene people. It's the failure of them wanting to come to the table and to acknowledge the other side as being anything close to who they are. And saying, like, it's Bertolt and Eren in that moment in the trees and children. It was Bertolt saying, oh, well, I'm sorry for you, but, you guys are devils, so we got to kill you. When the answer should be, yeah, I feel sorry for you. How can we keep this from happening again? And that's not what Gross is saying here. Gross isn't saying, yeah, I felt sorry for your sister and I wanted to make sure that never happened again because that was awful. It was, oh, no, that's just the way things are. It's that complacency with the violent cycle. It's the fact that Gross doesn't want to change anything. He's accepted that that's just the way that it is. And as long as we're on top of the cycle, it's fine. And because the Eldians can turn into Titans, we have to be on top of the cycle. Otherwise, we'll die. It's an idea that there's only two options, that there's not a third option. And I feel like a lot of the characters, by the time we get into season 4, are starting to realize that, well, maybe there is a third option. Should we try to pursue that? Maybe what Kenny and Uri were trying to pursue that. Should we carry that on? And they just kind of go from there. But it's Gross saying, like, Gross is the acceptance. His name is the point. The acceptance and complacency of a cycle of violence is Gross. And that's why he's called that. Yep. Get a little Titan spinal fluid in your blood and you become monsters. And you think you're just as human as us. I mean, they are. Yeah. You're monsters in human skin. It's peaceful now. We think we're free of you rats. One of you gets uppity again. All humanity wishes for the same thing, to wipe out every last Eldian. I mean, he says, what did you say? Yeah, I mean, but do they all wish that? How do I live with myself? It's easy. I'm not killing humans. You're the killers. What were the Restorationists going to do to Marley? You were going to follow the same path as the Eldian Empire. It's basically just Gross acknowledging that we both are sinning the same way. We're both repeating the cycle of violence. Neither of us are trying to come to the table and make things better, right? And Gross is saying that everyone feels that way, but that's a logical fallacy in itself. He can't speak for all of humanity, obviously, but Grisha doesn't realize that or doesn't acknowledge it, right? Your history is all a lie. And he goes on with that. You have a grand history. Talk to your friend down there about it. Oh my gosh. And that's when Kruger knocks him down. Yep. Oh my god! The Titan with the little face! Oh my god! Well, and then we're, Oh, that's awful. Just biting his face off. Oh my god. And this time the Titan looks at the camera and Kruger basically is Isayama. Kruger saying, is it as much fun as he made it out to be? I'm the owl. This is how you use the power of the Titans. And then, yeah. Man, what a buff bod. I loved the owl. I was like, oh, hey, owl. What's up? And he has the attack Titan. But it even kind of looks a little bit like Eren even then, right? It looks like Eren even then. Isn't that weird? Oh, my gosh. Did not skip arm or ab or any day. Around the time the soldiers ran out of ammunition, the owl, now a Titan, crushed their steamships that spread across the ocean. He squeezed the soldiers dry and threw them into the ocean like discarded pieces of fruit. I suppose I need to explain to you what the ocean is. The large body of salt water that covers the 7/10 of the world's surface. 7/10 of the world's surface. So in this world, it's much more covered in water, right? Or we talked about this in the anime. It actually does cover 7/10 of the earth. Yeah, we talked about this in the anime because we thought that maybe there had been like a post-apocalyptic mirroring of the world, but no, it's actual reality. All right. It vanished and was engulfed in the ocean. I mean, it does still look like Kruger there, but there's a little bit of Eren there. And the gulls. And then he comes back out. But he said that was 15 years ago when his sister died. So at that point, Kruger was not the attack Titan yet because he only lives 13 years. But he's getting ready to die. So, okay, he got it 2 years after that. And his nose is bleeding. Yeah. And the lines are all the way down his face. Oh, wow. Where do I even start? Yeah, right. Where do you start? I don't have this kind of time. My name is Eren Kruger. I hold the power of one of the 9 Titans. I'm a subject of Yamir like you. He's like, I found a cooperative doctor. Yep. He too was a subject of Yamir. He'd falsified his own medical records to pose as a Marleyan. Doctors make good spies. Yep. You did a good job. You led the restorations at a young age and produced an heir with Dinah Fritz. The results were just as Grice lamented, weren't they? Oh, I like that Grisha says, I was a bad father, a bad husband, and a bad man. So why am I the only one left standing here as a human? It's like that only the good die young. It's the flock mentality. Flock's why was I spared when all of the good people that sacrificed themselves died? It's the flock thing of why me? Why was I left? What have I got yet to prove, right? And then she was special. If you had suppressed that fact, he's like, Dinah wouldn't have to come here. And he's like, you're right. Why am I the one you kept alive? Oh, and at that point, Grisha doesn't have his hands yet, his fingers. Think of your fingers. Oh my God. He says you could have kept everyone from becoming Titans. Why didn't you do anything? What was the purpose? He's like, not just our compatriots. I've cut off thousands of fingers. Thousands of them. I believe I did it all to serve Eldia. And he's like, I'm short on time. I'm going to trust you with my final mission. You and not anyone else. Yeah, oh man. He's like, you may have been able to save your sister. And Grisha's like, no, I probably would have been killed with her. If that had never happened, you probably would never have hated Marley as much as you do now. He's like, your hate for the state, your father, for yourself, The hate I saw in your eyes could have burned the world to ashes. Well, you know, it's kind of genetic. He passes that on to his son, too. Fun times. I was once that way, too. Oh, wow. The members of the royal family who stayed on the continent formed an insurgent group, and my father joined. But they weren't able to do a thing, and they were burned alive with their families. Oh, my God. Kruger kind of looks a little bit like Eren there in the corner as a kid. A little bit. My father's friends saved me before my home burned down. I swore to get revenge. But I had to become part of the Marleyan army. I had to take the fingers of people I wanted to protect, to skin them alive, to kick them down and turn them into titans. My full devotion to that is what kept my identity from being revealed. That's so interesting that Kruger said he had to hurt all the people he cared about to save himself, to move forward. And Eren does the exact opposite. Eren hurts himself to save the people he cares about to move forward. That's an interesting kind of contrast there. I'm the same as then, looking out into the world from a crack behind a closed door. He's like, will you go inside the walls and take back the founding titan? You'll use the power of the titan you inherited from me. You'll become a titan and you're going to eat me. Why don't you do it? And this is where he finds out, yeah, my goal was to raise the morale of the restorationists. Anyone who inherits the power of the titans will die in 13 years, and I inherited it 13 years ago. If you had known that, you wouldn't have been so eager to have Zeke or Dinah take on the founding titans' powers. Oh my gosh! The curse of Ymir. Because Ymir died 13 years after the first awakening to her powers, and no one's power can exceed hers. So when the time closes in, your body weakens and the vessel finishes serving its purpose. So yeah, so Eren got it at what age? I guess they're going to tell us. And now Armin's sitting there, which somebody brought up a good point. Armin's kind of melancholy too, just like Eren. But then again, Armin was going to die and wouldn't have been there at all. So 13 years to Armin is like, well, I didn't have 13 years before, so I guess I should be grateful I get it again now, you know. And this was another memory that matched up with your dad's notes, right? Yes. Uh-huh. The Reese family passed the crown every 13 years. Yeah. And Armin's like, I have 13 years. And Eren says, I have 8 years left, or even less. Ugh. And then that's when Mikasa says it has to be wrong. If someone who holds the power of one of the 9 titans dies without anyone inheriting that power. I like that Armin looks really sad. They're just like, because it's so sad. At this point, Mikasa's realized that her 2 best friends in the world, she has 8 years or less with Eren. That's it. And with Armin, she has 13 years left. Like these kids are like, what, 17? By the time she's 30, she's going to be without them both. Like that's so sad. The power of the Titan is suddenly inherited by a baby belonging to the subject of Ymir. Distance plays no factor, and neither do blood relations. So you can't but think that maybe the subjects of Ymir are all connected by something invisible. They said they saw paths invisible to the eye. The blood and bones that formed a Titan were sent to them through those paths. They carried memories. So you think back to the idea of Armin seeing Bertolt's face in the last volume, that there could be a connection there. I did love what the anime did, was that they put Eren exactly in Kruger's place when he's talking to Grisha. It's great. And the paths cross a single coordinate, the founding Titan. They're connected to that coordinate. Yep. Marley's, okay, yep, we go back to that. I like that after all this, Grisha goes, so magic exists? I love that Grisha's like, so this fantasy story is a fantasy story? That's really funny, just that line, yes. She was a witch all along. The Marley authorities called her a pawn of the devil. The Elden Empire, she was a God-given miracle. What is the real story? When she was a girl, our ancestor touched the source of all living matter. There's no such thing as truth in this world. That is our reality. anyone can become a god or a devil. All it takes is for someone to claim it to be true. Yes, that is the crux of this whole damn story. I mean, there's so many cruxes of this story, but I love that line that is just anyone can be a god, anyone can be a devil. It's just there is no capital T truth. It's just whatever you make of it, right? Yeah, 17 centuries of ethnic cleansing. If that were true, there wouldn't be a strand of Marleyan hair left on this planet. Exactly. Yes. Our ancestor Yamir brought nothing but wealth to the power of the Titans. That doesn't sound like any human I've ever heard of. Yeah, Kruger, I loved Kruger's character because he just called it like he is. He's like, yeah, no, there's no truth to anything. Everything's exaggerated. Everything told from history is told from the perspective of the victors. So he's like, was that a truth? Unfortunately, it is true Dinah was of royal blood. She was the one thing that wasn't taken from the insurgents. Why then? Because she was royal blood. Yeah. She's like, would you rather have had your wife just sit there and have kids for them over and over again? I think, as hard as it is, I think Kruger made the right choice because, yeah, they would have tortured her. And that makes Grisha think that it was all his fault that she got in that position then, if that was the case. Yep. He's like, I wasn't able to save our brother's sisters. Now you have to do your job. And then Grisha's like, I don't think I'm fit for it. Yeah. Oh my God. There's no better revenge than I could have gotten than this. You asked me if I enjoyed watching him die. No, I didn't. Yep. I felt the same way as you were crushing your own men with your hands. I was frightened. If I'd known this was the price of freedom, I never would have paid it. Oh, man. And that just, the Grisha revealing in this moment that he made a mistake and that he doesn't enjoy seeing people die. Like, he hates it. Your father smiled and nodded at the authorities. He was trying not to lose any more of his family. Yes, we talked about this last volume. He was making sure he didn't stray from the wrong path. But his son learned nothing from him. And worse, he shipped his own wife and son straight to hell. And he says, stand and fight. I like these, like, there's info I haven't told you. And Grisha's like, you're supposed to start out with that. You'll fight and restore Eldia's freedom and dignity with your own life on the line. And he said, I brought this from your home. He's like, if you got no balls, if you've been castrated by Marley, all I have left are my sins. He says, that's enough. The main reason I chose you wasn't because you hated Marley more than any other. It's because you went past the wall that day. If you had never gone outside with your sister, you would have inherited your father's clinic. Your sister would be an adult now probably married. You would have never met Dinah, and Zeke would have never been born. Perhaps she would be a mother, but you went past the wall. We sought freedom, and our brothers and sisters paid the price for it. There's only one way to pay them back. From the first day I came back to kick my compatriots to their death, from the day you brought your sister outside the wall, the actions will follow us until they're repaid. Even if we die, even after we die. Oh my God, and that line's gonna get repeated. Oh! So he's like, you started this story. You've got to continue it. It's crazy. It's just, oh my God. You started this story, didn't you? He's like, you started it, so now you have to finish it. It's just, oh my God. That line there, the whole idea there is like, it feels very Erwin when Erwin tells them, being like, we sought freedom. And it's like, are we going to let our brothers and sisters die in vain? It's like Erwin saying, are we going to let our comrades in the Service Corps die in vain and us do nothing to live up to the price that they give? But then again, there is that argument of like, well, do we have to? I mean, Grisha didn't have to do this. True. Didn't have to do it if he didn't want to, but he chooses to. I love he has the hand over the heart. Yep, and he does, it's basically he's doing the reverse. Doing the reverse of the devote your heart. Yep, with the picture in his little nubbins. Yep. Each of the Titans has a name, including the one you'll inherit from me. In every era, this Titan has always moved ahead, seeking freedom. It's the part of Ymir that wants freedom, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, and how do we gain freedom? It has fought on for freedom. Its name is the Attack Titan. Mm-hmm. Yep, because if you're going to seek freedom, what do you have to do? You have to attack. What are you doing? Oh, she's like, what are you doing? The Attack Titan, that's what you said, right? No. Yeah. I like Eren's just talking to himself. I like that Hanji's going to be the one to interrupt him and bring him back to reality from here on in. Yeah. Well, what was that? No. It's the name of the Titan you inherited from your father, right? Why are you talking to yourself even though no one else was around? He's 15. Everyone has a phase like that. Oh my god! So yeah, Eren at this point is 15. Why does Eren's face look like that? What is that? What do you mean a phase? I never had a phase where I muttered to myself all alone while glaring at the sky! Oh, I'll explain later. Stop talking about it in front of him. I'm not sure how I'll be able to explain. What does that mean? And then Eren's like, what are you here for? You're done. Uh-huh. Even a 9-person organization. Womp womp. Okay, yeah. Oh my god, Eren's face of just being like, don't know how to deal with this. Okay. The officers who disobeyed were the idiots who let the armored and beast titans get away. If I ever found myself at a loss, now would be the time. And Eren asking if Mikasa's lost weight. Yeah, because she's worried about you. And they're like, you seem well, I guess. I like it. Levi's like, let's not have this awkward flirting. Let's go. We have an audience. Her Majesty the Queen. My dearest. Oh, we're going to get the letter. My dearest Historia. Reiner is standing at my side. Reiner looks really good there. That's like the best he's looked in this entire series. He's catching glimpses as I write this love letter to you. What a creep. He's never getting a girlfriend. Oh my god. I freaking miss Yamir. I miss her so much. I miss her so much. That's amazing. He did promise he'd deliver this letter to you. He wants to repay me for saving them that day. I never could have imagined ever choosing them over you. I'll be dead long after I write these words. And this is where we get her backstory. Wow. So they made us wait till now to tell her backstory. I'm really glad we didn't have to wait that long in the anime. I really like they put it where they did in the anime. It makes more sense and it gives Ymir more character up until the point where she's not there anymore. But man, I had no name. I don't know who my parents were, where they were from. But I was being a beggar among many. And he gave me a name and people called me Yamir. All I had to do was take it, and then I was given a fine bed and free meals. Adults always acted like I was invisible, got on their knees, and revered me. And then he has like all this stuff on like the wall church people. All I had to do was make everyone delighted and happy was to play the role I'd been given. That's what I believed. And that's why I kept playing the part of Ymir. And again, that is tying to Krista feeling like she felt the same way. If she just played the good girl Ymir, like Ymir, then she'd be fine. And freckled Ymir felt the same way. But then they started calling me a devil instead. But I still kept playing the part. I thought if that's what would save them, it would be fine. And I still kept playing the part. And she was self-sacrificial just like Krista was trying to be. Well, as Historia was trying to be as Krista. There are people in this world who would throw rocks at them for who would have rocks thrown at them for nothing more than existing. As their symbol, I was stoned from head to toe. In this world, it doesn't mean in particular. It's a simple chunk of flesh that can scream and flail. And then there's the Titan that ends up in Ilsa's notebook. Yep. So yeah, it's such a cruel twist on the bystander speech where Carla's like everyone's special because they're born, And here Ymir is giving like the dark side to that, being like sometimes people are just existing, but people are cruel to them for no reason. It does not mean a thing. And then it shows her, but that's why I think the world is so incredible. She's like, whatever, I opened my eyes again and spread out before me was freedom. From there I began to walk and I lived the way I wanted. I have no regrets. It's like she had basically lived her entire life not being herself and trying to be something she wasn't. And then when she was given this like miracle at a second chance at life, she decided to come back and live her life the way she wanted to without regrets. And there it is. That's so beautiful. I love the way that Ymir looks there. It's so pretty. A nice preview of the paths. Or so I'd like to say. But to be honest, I do have one. You and I still aren't married. Ymir. Is that all there was? Oh my god, it's a Zuko moment. She's like, is that it? Is that all there is? I have no regrets. You and I still aren't married. I want Historia and Ymir to be together too. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's the best ship is Ymir and Historia, and it's not fair that Isayama can't give us this one Yuri ship. Why not? Hate it. Hate it. Oh. I don't think she'd do something like that. Ymir, you really were an idiot. Where's my AU where Ymir and Historia end up together? Where is that? Ugh. I'll never get you. And she's sitting there crying? Oh my god, why? No! I like the Hanji notices Historia crying. I hate it. Hate it. No. This is so hard. I hate this volume. Your Majesty. She's like, no, stop it. Yep, been through so much. You three are practically the same. Oh, none of us have really felt it yet. Why don't we get going? Yep, the early life of Grisha Yeager, the extent of our knowledge of the Titans and their history, and information about the world beyond the walls. And I think they gave a little photo frame for the little photo of Zeke. Isn't that cute? All right. 199 who are not here. Yep. Okay, so this is that meeting with everyone. In exchange for the loss of many heroes, including Erwin Smith, we were able to successfully retake Wall Maria, defeat the Colossus Titan, and take its power. But we are in an extremely dangerous situation. Yep. We count ourselves lucky if there were Titans, if the Titans were our only enemies, but the true enemy we've been fighting all along is humanity. Civilization, or if you will, the world. Now the thing about it is, we don't know if Ymir was going to say the world. We don't know. This is Eren thinking this, right? Because we have Eren sitting next to her thinking that. So we don't know what Ymir would have said. We can't say it would have been the world. We don't know. But Eren is connecting the dots, and to Eren, it is the world. Which should be foreshadowing that Eren's going to try to use the rumbling, right? And Hanji says this. We're subjects of Ymir. That's why the world attempts to eradicate us, the subjects of Ymir. And there's Eren again. And now at this point, yeah, they don't know any better. They don't know that they could possibly even have allies outside of the wall. So, of course, Hanji's saying, like, as far as we know, everyone outside the wall hates us. As far as we know. And Eren takes that to heart so much. But we come to find out that that's not exactly the case. Through Anyan and everything, we come to find out that's not entirely the case. If the founding wall Titan falls into Marley's hands, then they will no longer have any use for the Eldians in the internment zone. Spelling the end for all Eldians, whether on island or the continent. What Gross said was a fact. Long ago, Eldia used pure Titans as cheap weapons of destruction. They're now being used to cage in the Eldians on this island, preventing them from freely venturing past the walls. So as long as the founding Titan does not control them, they cannot follow any complex orders. Once they're set loose, they become fearless and automatic tools of mass slaughter. But now it's too much for even them. Even the Marlians have to avoid the island. The only reason they've kept so many Eldians alive is because each living Eldian is one more pure Titan they can add to the military forces. But Marley isn't a monolith. Most people think it'd be better to slaughter us all than to turn us into such unreliable weapons. I know the day will return for the island's resources, and to develop it, they'll need to eliminate all of the pure Titans. And if they acquire the founding Titans, then they'll begin to question whether the Eldians should continue to exist. They'll use us as weapons or eradicate us, one or the other. And the King of the Walls wouldn't allow that to happen. The King of the Walls won't fight. Right. He says if LD decides to raise, we'll perish as we're meant to. But I thought he said the Titan side of the walls would flatten the earth. He used that as a threat to achieve temporary peace, but the king actually agrees with Marley that LDS should be destroyed. He's taking his people down with him. The king stole the people's memories and made them think that humanity outside the walls has perished. He's surrounded by fools of his own making and tells them this is paradise. I don't understand his vow renouncing war, but a king who can't even protect his people is no king. Though I doubt he uses the name Fritz, we have to find him. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Kruger that absolutely Fritz taking the people's memories, keeping them ignorant, and just basically saying, oh, we don't deserve to live, so guess we'll just sit here and wait till we die, is stupid. And it's not, it doesn't solve anything. It just perpetuates. I like Grisha's face in the upper corner there is exactly how I feel. It's like, that does nothing. Why would you do that? Right? No. And take the founding Titan from this frightened king. That is our mission. And that's exactly what Grisha did. Right? And Eren just sitting there looking, right? Yes, he took the founding Titan from the King of the Walls and entrusted it to his son, Eren. While Mr. Kruger didn't know what the vow renouncing war meant, we now know what it means. I like that we have Eren and Historia's eyes there because they're the two that knew what was going on down in the cave, them having that experience. Yes. So the vow, yeah, because Eren's not of the bloodline, it doesn't work anymore. So would it be to use the true power of the founding Titan to activate the Wall Titans? No. In the past, Eren's controlled pure Titans in order to escape perilous situations. We don't know why he was able to use that power, but it's from making contact with Dinah. Yes. And that's when he realizes that it was with that's when he realizes, yeah, and then he jumps up. Yep. Oh, but he doesn't say anything. Oh, I like that everybody, Armin's just like, what are you doing? Our Titan. Nope, never mind. Just forget I said anything. Sorry I interrupted anything. And then he's just staring at Historia. Yep. I like that she's like, he's going through a phase. Eren goes through a phase for the rest of this series. Let's be real. Where he strikes a pose and mouths off for no reason. Oh my god, season 4, Hanji. That's unfortunate to hear. He is getting to be that age. I like that all the guys in this series are like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. It's about that time. And then Armin's like, you want to tell us? I haven't told him the Titan who killed my mom and Mr. Hannes was my father's first wife. Because if I did, Historia. If they turned someone from the royal bloodline into a Titan, then had me consume them, there's a possibility I could use the power of the founding Titan. Sure. Okay. Yeah, interesting. It's only a possibility, but if that possibility did exist, with the corpse, what would they do to Historia? I could be remembering this all wrong. This isn't the time to bring up half-baked ideas. I like that Armin's trying to figure it out. Yeah. I like that he's like trying to figure it out, what Eren's thinking. And I like that Eren is thinking like, okay, I don't need to be talking. It's like the rare moment when Eren thinks before he speaks. He's like, I don't need to be talking and saying these things because it could put Historia in danger without me even realizing it, right? If we don't know, he's like, if I cause a panic amongst everybody and Historia immediately is thrown into danger again, that will serve no purpose. And then Kruger's like, go have Eren because he's come back to tell me to make him, right? You'll need a full household once you enter inside the walls. I have Dinah and all my memories from before. They'll disappear anyway, won't they? Someone may see them later. Yeah, the memories you have. So Kruger was telling him like to have a full household of kids. Like go off, have a bunch of kids. That way, if something happens, you guys can just keep eating each other and carry on if necessary. And Grisha was like, I just want one kid, man. Your wife, your child, even someone on the street, it doesn't matter. Love someone inside the walls. If you can't, we're doomed to repeat it all again. The same history, the same mistakes. Again and again. If you want to save them all, Mikasa, Armin, and the others, carry out your mission to the end. Who are they? Oh, who knows? Whose memories could these be? That's so interesting because it's saying, again, these memories are coming from Eren in the future, telling Grisha that he has to do this, that he has to make... Eren is basically making himself suffer because he has to be the one to end it, right? Eren's like, I'm going to break the wheel, right? But again, we don't know at this point, as of season 4, part 2 ending, we don't know what all Eren has seen. So we don't know if Eren saw that it was going to take Armin and Mikasa coming after him to get him to save the world. We don't know if it was going to take all of this to get the people of the world united against just Eren so that it could end. We don't know. It would not surprise me if Eren made up this giant plan to kill himself, and in him dying, it would save everyone else. Because there's a part of you that thinks, oh, Eren's just going to destroy humanity so that he can be with the people of Parity. But then there's a part of me that thinks, no, Eren doesn't love himself. He doesn't feel himself worthy of love. So he's just going to destroy what he has to save Armin and Mikasa and the others that he cares about. And if he ends up dying in the process of that happening, Eren won't care. He's like, I got like 8 years left, whatever. As long as they can be safe, I'm fine. So, and I'm sure that, but the thing of it is, not all of those memories have made it back to Eren in the present, and not all of those memories made it back to Grisha, not all of those made it back to Kruger. So we're just getting like just the faded remnants, but his mission to save Armin and Mikasa is so strong, it's faded all the way back out here. You have to carry out your mission to the end. And that's like when Eren gets to him in the cave being like, you have to do this. Be like, even if you die, even after you die, you have to keep going. Oh my God. So if Eren has realized that he has to die and that his friends have to kill him to save the world, and he's fine with all of this, what do we do with that, right? The walls will fall into chaos if we make this public. Yeah. And so, like, what do we do? We'll make an announcement. We will be returning the memories King Rhys took from the people a century ago. Back to the people a century later. That's all. We are the people of the walls. We have a shared fate and will unite as one and work together. I like that Eren isn't looking forward yet, and Armin is watching him like what's going on. Armin is thinking about what do you know that you're not telling us, right? And this whole thing with the hats and everything, it's very much paralleling Marley when Jean and them go to infiltrate there, right? It's very much paralleling it. And look, Levi's holding his little teacup. Same way as always. We built the walls 100 years ago. A race of devils. Telling everybody everything. Some accept it. Some let out a laugh. Some are coming up with conspiracy theories. They're in a state of confusion. It was unavoidable, though, yeah. We let the taxpayers decide what to do with the information. But yeah, it's better to have the information than to be ignorant, right? I like that Levi's like, so yeah, put in a better word for us next time since we saved your asses. Nice. I like Hanji and Levi being together here. Now, it says, but now we find the people out in the world have seen us not as humans, but as monsters. We have to experience that hell again. And it's not going to end until we're annihilated. Oh, and there I was expecting like Hanji to grab his hand or something, but again, that just shows that the one side feels like they're backed into a corner. So do they fight back, or do you try to find another way? And then Hitch, you came, and there's Jean and them. Marlowe, he was brave until the end, right, Flock? Oh, and then Flock, he has his porcupine. The anime makes his hair look so weird with the porcupine hair, but really it's just like, he just has bad bangs, that's all. It seemed hopeless. He was the guy who never stopped encouraging the rest. He was an amazing guy. Oh, good look on you, Flock. Good for you. Good for you telling her that. That's why I never listened to a word I said. Oh, but at the very end, he must have regretted ever going there. And then John's like, why'd you say that, man? You just made her feel bad. I mean, on the one hand, and then Flock says someone has to tell the truth, right? I mean, Flock isn't wrong in that moment. Marlowe did regret it. He did regret in the last minute. Maybe not regret going into battle, but he thought about Hitch at the very end, right? And because it wasn't that Marlowe regretted going to battle, he was just thinking about Hitch. So Flock is right in thinking that Marlowe was thinking about something at the very end. It was Hitch. But he's wrong in saying that Marlowe regretted it. Like, you can't speak on his behalf. Just because you look over and see him with a look on his face doesn't mean anything. So Flock was trying to help, but he got like 80% there. And then Armin, I wasn't the only one, all of us. Everyone thought reading the report. Man, Flock, you quit speaking on everyone's behalf, right? And then I love that Eren's like, what do you know about Armin? I remember I thought Eren and Flock were going to be like the biggest of enemies, and everybody in the comments were like, behind my back. I love it. I'm not his childhood friend. Oh my God. You allowed your personal feelings to get the better of you and made an irrational decision. You couldn't throw away what was important to you. Which is so hilarious that Flock says this about their decision when later on when Eren causes the rumbling, which was an irrational decision because he couldn't throw away those that were important to him, Flock is all about it. I just love the hypocrisy in this moment with Flock, where Flock is so mad because Armin was chosen instead of Erwin, saying that it was a personal decision based on irrational elements of personal connections, when Eren's entire motivation for the rumbling is irrational details based on personal connections. It's the same damn thing! It's just so funny. It's just funny. And Eren's like, shut your mouth! Ironies of all ironies. You must always think you're in the right. Well, yes, you were 100% correct. It's why you never gave up a little kid who won't listen to reason. Oh my God. I mean, Flock, you're on the nose, but oh my God. Oh my God. And Levi's just over here like, damn it, why do I have to listen to these kids? Why? It's fine, Eren, let's go. And then, and then Mikasa's about to punch Flock in the face, and thank God Jean is there, because Jean is like, I just saved your ass, man. She was about to hand it to you. Yep. And then Connie's like, why are you dredging up something already in the past? You just stood by. Oh my God. Medals for what? A memorial for who? Tell the Survey Corps the truth coming in to fill the ranks. Otherwise, you're going to have cowards like me joining you by accident. Oh my God. And Flock is like, he's such a great embodiment of a very real type of person. And you can't help but be like, yeah, I mean, yes, but also. I love to hate Flock so much because he's not wrong. I mean, he does a lot of logical fallacies in this and is very hypocritical in certain points, as y'all see. But there is a part of Flock that is so relatable and understandable that it's what makes him so interesting, right? What are you planning to do without Commander Erwin? I should at least have the right to call it like I see it. Oh. And then I like that Armin doubts himself, and Armin's like, what makes you so sure of that? I don't know what the right choice is. How can anyone know the future? Which is so funny that Eren's saying this. Have you seen it? What's beyond the walls? What's past the walls? The ocean. And Eren's like, don't give up on your dream, the ocean. He's like, you haven't seen it yet, have you? We still don't know a thing. Flaming water, frozen plains, the snowfields on sand. There's an endless number of possibilities. I think on the other side of the wall. Oh my God. There's freedom. Oh shit. And that's when he stops, when he sees the girl's body being eaten by the dogs. Oh shit. I think that, oh my God. I think that regardless of whatever happened with Historia and Eren kissing her hand, whatever happened regardless, Eren was going to be affected by those memories, regardless of everything else. I mean, the kissing of the hand was like the seal of the sealed deal, like the kiss of death. But I think that regardless of what happened, there was always going to be a piece of him, thanks to those memories, that would forever jade him, right? And that is the truth of it. Eren's not wrong in thinking that. There is the truth of that. That yes, beyond the walls, there is a price that could be paid. Beyond the walls, there is danger, and there could be death. But there is also freedom. I think that that's something Eren sometimes gets in such a narrow mindset that Eren gets so, he doesn't think of things in terms of the whole picture. He thinks he does. But I think that Eren tends to go for the dark side of things, and Armin tends to go more towards the optimistic side of things. And the truth is that there's both. There is an ocean beyond the walls. There is paradise beyond the walls and beauty. But there is also danger and death. It's like, it's not a utopia. But the question is your freedom going to be worth it? So for Armin, it is. For Armin, beyond the walls is infinite possibilities. Infinite things to find. Small beauties and everything. And for Eren, there is freedom, but there is also danger. And a danger of taking that freedom away. So it's just, Isayama is brilliant. I love it. I love it. What was it we found in the basement? Was it hope or despair? It could be both. Why does it have to be one or the other? Right? Our enemy was more powerful than we ever could have imagined. The calamity is only going to repeat itself if nothing changes. I'd be happy to give up my life if I knew doing so could change something. But I'm not prepared to sacrifice Historia's life, so what should I do? I can't tell anyone about this. Now, he touches her hand there, right? And nothing happens yet, right? I can't tell anyone about this. And this is the moment that Eren makes the decision. This is everything from here, from season 4 on out. This is it. This is it. He's like, I would give up my life if I could change something. But I'm not going to sacrifice my friends' lives. So what should I do? And I can't tell anybody, because if I do, they're going to try to get involved. And I can't let them do that. So yeah, from here on in, everything that Eren does, yeah, I'm solely convinced Eren is going to kill himself to save everybody. But he's got to create this elaborate plan to make it all work. I, like you, am a subject of Ymir. I am an Eldian and I've come from beyond the walls. Before the people of the walls are eaten. King of the walls, you must kill the titans attacking the walls before my wife and children. And that's when he sees it all. Yep. The anime made it look much more gruesome than that, but yeah, that's when Eren gets an idea. An awful idea. Eren gets a truly, truly awful idea. Yep, that's it. That's the moment Eren knew what he had to do. That's the moment he went back with Grisha and everything clicked. Yep, that's the timeline moment where he goes back. The memories of the future, everything, all the time loop like syncs together, right? Yep. So then they began to mend everything, right? A year after the Trost attack, they could go back to Resell for the first time in 6 years. Yep, the expedition beyond Wall Maria. Most of them, we've culled most of them in only a year. So at this point, right? At this point, Eren's 16, because it's been a year, right? So he's got 7 years left, right? It's been, yeah, he's 16. It's been 7 years. 7 years left. He's 16. Yep, interesting. Okay. Yeah, so that would have been right. I want to go back to that. So it had been for the first time in 6 years, the day had come for the Survey Corps to embark on the expedition behind Wall Maria. So yeah, so after Shigen, Sheena, and all that, so after it had been 6 years since he had gotten those Titan powers, Eren's 16, so he has 7 years left. Okay. And then there's the Titan that Flock wants to kill. It's taken so long. And then Eren says, that's one of our compatriots, someone who's been sent to heaven. We're close. The fact that he said compatriots is interesting. That's very Grisha language. And then past there is the ocean. Yes. Okay. All right. Ah, look at there. The shell. It's so salty. Don't drink it, John. Yep. I like that Levi's like, don't touch it. It can be poisonous. Levi's not getting in the ocean because it's too dirty. He doesn't want to risk it. No. Aw, Mikasa, she's so cute there where she's like, eek. And then Armin holding the shell. Aw, that's so cute. I told you, Eren, it's so big a merchant can spend his whole life collecting salt and still not get it all. I was right, wasn't I? It's so huge. It is. And then Armin's trying to show him something like, look at this, Eren. On the other side of the walls is the ocean, and on the other side of the ocean is freedom. That's what I always believed. But I was wrong. It's enemies that are on the other side of the ocean. All this is exactly as I saw in my old man's memories. Right? Those enemies on the other side of here, if we kill them all, does that mean we'll be free? I hate this moment so much because Eren, he misses the forest for the trees. Like Armin is trying to show him this little piece of beauty that makes up like everything they've been working for. And Eren can't think of it or enjoy it because all he sees is people threatening his friends. But he can't think of like any small beauty or moment of happiness because all he can see is what's lying ahead of him to do. And at this point, he's already seen the future. He already knows what's coming. He knows what he's going to have to do. He's like, if we kill all of them, does that mean that we're going to be free? The answer is no. Of course, the answer is, what is your definition of free? And the thing that is so horrifying about this moment is that Eren knows that if he destroys everything on the other side of the walls, that it will mean that his friends can live. But Eren, and that will be Eren's version of freedom. But the horrifying thing is, like, if Eren succeeds, Eren's version of freedom, meaning there are no enemies outside of the wall, will come true, but it will destroy Armin's freedom. Eren, it's the ultimate paradox. Eren's freedom, attaining that for Eren means destroying it for Armin. And Eren wanted Armin to live because he knew Armin could be the hope for humanity to gain that freedom back. And so, yeah, so it's this big horrible cycle that I'm like, Eren, you are destroying the freedom that your best friend sought and inspired you by. And I think Eren knows it, but he can't think of any other way to do it. Damn. Damn. Oh my God. Ah. Attack on the School cast. Oh my God. History teacher Erwin! Oh my god, while he's a regular history teacher, he sometimes laughs when regular people wouldn't. What? And then janitor's Levi, most fear him because of the rumor that he was once an important figure in the underworld. Oh my god. And Kanji's a chemistry teacher, has a habit of being driven by curiosity to break the law. Oh my god. Mika says behind the vending machines, what is this Jean and Armin agenda? Look at this Jean and Armin agenda. I can't. Is it fun for you? Who the hell are you? Oh my god. You ripped it. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Thank you. You were cool as the good guys in Kick-Ass there. Oh my god. No, you must be the Dark Knight called forth by my curse, here to fight off that man. He's like, what? Oh my god. I love it. I love it. A few words can change everything. Yes, they very much can. Wow. Oh my god. Oh, the warriors gather to fulfill their own goals and the story heads to its next stage. I can't believe we're already season 4. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yep. So we are. Okay. Okay. Oh god, it hurts. It hurts. Yep. Well, it didn't feel as painful as I thought it would, but I'm really excited to get into, season 4, because I think season 3 presents a lot of these problems now, where the world gets much bigger and the problems get bigger, and season 4 is going to be expanding on. But I think it's really nice to know at this point where Eren was. That Eren was in this headspace. He's been in this headspace for a very, very long time. And learning the information in the basement completely changed the way he thought he needed to act. And it's completely made it to where Eren feels he has to do something. And the only way he can do it is by X, Y, and Z's means. Even if it means sacrifice to him. He's like, I can't let my friends die. But there is this knowledge, and maybe Eren doesn't even realize it, the knowledge that him saving his friends is killing his friends' freedom. But Eren can't see any other way. And he can't live with himself if they're hurt. So, I'm glad going into this 4th season, knowing this about Eren, that it's always been there. He's always had this planned. And ever since he decided that he did not want them to hurt Historia and turn her into a Titan, he decided to put this plan into action. So it's been in the process for a long time. But what do we do with that? So I am going to read Lost Girls next week, because I was told by Discord, patrons on Discord, they were like, you should read Lost Girls before you go into season 4's content, which will start next volume. So next week we're going to take a break. I'm going to read Lost Girls, the Annie and Mikasa one. And then, believe it or not, we're going to dive into season 4 content. I'm so excited, but I'm not ready. It's been so long. It's been like a year since I've watched it. So, it's literally been about a year since I've watched that content. So, isn't that crazy? What the hell, man? But yeah, it's been over a year. But I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. This volume, I was dreading it. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we can get through that. And now we get to get into some good stuff. So, in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Attack on Titan. Bye!